Daredevil 2003. This is a movie. I watched this pretty recently, and it was the first time I had watched it in quite a long time. Quite a long time. In fact, it the last time I watched it probably was back when it came out, maybe a few years after 2003. But this is a movie like that's has been criticized a lot by a lot of people, and you know, and I can see where they're coming from. But for me personally, I very much enjoyed Daredevil 2003. I did. It's perhaps it's perhaps I'm overlooking a lot of things, but I was very entertained throughout this movie. I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it was very simple. The and it was just a simple comic book movie, a good simple comic book movie. Was it the best comic book movie that's out there? No, but you know what? It came at a time in 2003 when it was one of the first movies that actually showcased superheroes. It was this and this movie and Spider-Man, like the original Spider-Man was Tobey Maguire, like Spider-Man 1 and 2. Those two movies and this movie kind of hold a special place, in my heart, just because, I like these superhero movies. I'm not going to pretend that I was a big comic book reader because I wasn't. I did watch a lot of the cartoons growing up, and Daredevil, I've always thought the idea of him, it was pretty cool. He's kind of badass. He is a blind man. He is a lawyer by day. And he is a crime fighter by night. He dresses up in all red, which I think is pretty cool. All red. He's got the double D's on his chest. And he uses his Walkman stick pretty much as a tool to fight crime, as a weapon. And I just thought the whole idea of him was pretty badass. And so when I saw this movie, I was pretty gassed, and it does have its flaws, but it has kind of a nostalgia feel for me, because like I said, this comes from a time when superhero movies were kind of just beginning to start to get big. It was, I'm not saying it's the first like superhero movie, but it's when they were starting to become very, very popular and become very, very mainstream. So it's plus I like Ben Affleck. I think he does a very good job in the role. As like the blind lawyer. Some people disagree. That's fine. That's fine. For me, I'm just looking to be entertained. It's a superhero flick. I wasn't expecting, any kind of Oscar award winning performances or anything like that, but I thought it was pretty cool. I thought him as Daredevil was very well done. He doesn't get much time as a lawyer in this movie. He has a little bit, and the scenes that he was in, I thought was very good. Like I would say I probably would have liked to seen a little more, but it's just kind of a short, condensed movie, so you honestly want to see more Daredevil than the lawyer, which I get, but I that is in there a little bit. Him as Daredevil, the fight scenes are good. It was 2003. Is it the best choreographed? No, but I think it's still cool. And I will say it's the movie. Like you have to. It's a comic book movie, because it can be a bit strange if you want to kind of dive into it a little bit, where Matt Murdock, the character of Ben Affleck plays Matt Murdock, doesn't necessarily have superhero like super strength or super stamina, from my understanding. Now, I'm not a big comic reader. I wasn't a big comic reader, but from my other than the sonar that he has after he goes blind, from my understanding, as far as his abilities athletically, he's more of like a human, just human level. And it is strange because in this movie you'll see this man like leaping off buildings, like that no regular human should be able to make, you know. And he's just jumping down these buildings, and he's like doing all kinds of backflips, you know, and not just like athletically, but just on a superhuman level. And listen, I understand why people would think that's kind of strange. It really didn't bother me. Like I said, this is a simple comic book movie. This is one of those movies where you kind of have to suspend disbelief a little bit and remember the times. You know, this was back when they were just starting to become popular, and I liked it. Hell, I liked it. You know, I thought it was so cool, just the entire concept of him. You know, and as far as the surrounding cast is concerned, I thought I thought they all did pretty good. You know, you have his lawyer friend, Favreau, you know, who actually plays Foggy Nelson, and uh, you know, in his much younger self, you know, he looks a lot younger in this movie. Obviously, I thought he was very funny. The chemistry between the two of them was good. You know, they kind of rip on each other a little bit as friends do. You know, in the coffee shop, and you know, and they talk about like girls in the case. It's pretty cool. I thought it was well done. I liked it. You know, um, the love interest in this, Jennifer Gardner as Electra, I thought she was pretty good. You know, she was in her role. You know, she was very kind of a quiet. You know, real. You know, just real. It's just like a love interest. You know, back in the day. You know, but she could kick ass too. She was really good with the scythe weapons. Finally, when you finally see her fight, I thought it was pretty cool. And as you can see, you know, she does some of the unbelievable jumps too. You know, I know these people are superheroes, but these characters aren't supposed to be super powered from my understanding. It's not something that I really had an issue with at all, but it is some I could see people having an issue with that. You know, it could be, but it's a comic. You have to suspend your, you know, you have to suspend the belief a little bit. But I thought her fighting skill was pretty cool. Her chemistry with Matt Murdock and Ben Affleck, I thought that was well done. You know, she's kind of has a bit of a revenge plot in this movie, which I think works. It's got a little bit of a twist at the end, which was, you know, unfortunate, but I kind of saw coming because it sets up the final battle, which you know, this is an old movie, but I'm not going to spoil it. You know what I mean? So it's been several years, but you know, I'm not going to do that. But it sets up a pretty good big battle with Daredevil and the villains of the movie, and from the events of what happens, you know. So thought she was very good. You had Michael Clark Duncan as the Kingpin. I thought he was great as the Kingpin. He was very intimidating, big, strong guy. You know, very calm. He, and you know, I think as far as he had such a presence in the film, where any scene that he's in, I think he probably steals each scene that he's in compared to all these actors. He just has this presence about him. You know, it's hard for me to explain, but he did a very good job with the role. You have Colin Farrell as Bullseye. I thought he did a great job too. He this kind of psycho, unhinged hitman who never misses. You know, he throws projectile weapons at you, and he never misses. He'll like hit you in the throat, hit you in the head. Very dangerous person, very formidable foe for Daredevil to fight. They actually have a pretty cool fight scene in the church towards the end of the movie, and I thought it was pretty badass. I go back and forth with friends sometimes. A lot of them tell me it actually wasn't that good, and I just you know I can see where they're what they're trying to say. It's not like the best action scene ever, but I liked it, man. You know, I liked it. I thought it was cool. I won't spoil exactly what happens during that fight, but I thought it was nice. I liked it, and you know, it's a relatively simple movie. It's a simple comic book movie. The way it's shot, it feels like you're reading a comic book. Just the way the shots are and how the buildings look in the background. Like if you look carefully, it almost looks like they're like part of a page, you know, from a distance. And I just thought that was pretty cool. You know, the plot. was simple, really, really, really good, and I liked it. I would enjoy it. You know, it's not a perfect movie. It's not even the best superhero movie out there, but it's one that's near and dear to me. I've always liked Daredevil as a character. I thought he's been pretty cool, and I like how this was one of the first movies that really got me into the superhero genre. Like I said earlier, him and Spider Man. As far as the movies are concerned, him and Batman too. I gotta mention that too. Love me my Batman. But this is just a fun, you turn your brain off a little bit, kind of a fun afternoon movie that you can enjoy, kind of soak up a little bit of nostalgia, and just kind of mash up some of these characters from the Daredevil universe. They just stick a bunch of them in there, mash them up, and it's like you're just like playing with the toys. I just feel I liked it. I liked it a lot. So I would recommend this movie. It's not for everyone, but I like it. And yeah, I mean, that's just it. So I'm going to cut it off here. I will catch you guys on the next one. And, and as always, you all have a wonderful evening.